Okay. Hello, everyone. Very good morning. Welcome back, and let's start. So, in the last session, we had an introduction towards the Terraform, Jenkins, and Docker Kubernetes. So, let us discuss about these most practical and most important tools in our DevOps header position. Okay. So, what are the tools that we have discussed in the last session? So, those are very, very crucial in any industry. So, that is Terraform, Docker, and Jenkins. These are very crucial. So when we are discussing about this Terraform, Docker, and Jenkins, what we need to understand here. Okay. Now what we are going to discuss here is Terraform is an infrastructure building management tool, and then Jenkins is a CI/CD pipelining tool, and finally we are having another tool called as Docker and Kubernetes, which are the containerization and orchestration platforms. So in this, we will be discussing about the uh, basically we'll start working with Jenkins, and then we will go ahead into the configuration of Terraform, Docker, and Kubernetes. So these concepts we are going to discuss. Among those concepts, what we will be doing here is, okay, among those concepts, what we will be doing here is, so what is this Jenkins? Okay, so first let us understand the Jenkins. Then we will go ahead into the rest of the tools. So actually everyone will start from Terraform, Docker, and Kubernetes. And finally, they will integrate the every tool, each and every tool with the Terraform. So that is how it is going to happen. But now when you come to the Jenkins configuration here, we will be starting with Jenkins. So if you understand the concept of Jenkins, then you are going to go ahead with the rest of the tools, integrating the rest of the tools. Okay, so now what we are going to do, let us understand what is Jenkins here. Jenkins is a CI/CD pipelining tool. CI/CD means continuous integration and continuous deployment. See, majority number of the companies, if you take Google, Google is deploying every 3 minutes or else every 5 minutes. It is deploying a new feature or new update into its applications. So for this, we need to have the continuous integration should be done continuously. The developers has to develop the code, and that code should be deployed, and that it should be integrated, and that should be sent to the production environment. So before we don't have this much ease when these CI/CD tools are not there. Before at that particular point of time, release management is very very difficult. Okay, release management has become very difficult for everyone. So to do this release management, they have to take days and days of time. So release management in the sense, if I want to release an application into the production, first of all, we need to write the code and then it should be tested properly, or else the application should be built and then the application should be tested. After testing the application will be sent into the production environment. So these are all the things are there. So to overcome this problem, what we are doing here is we are going with a CI/CD pipelining tool which was introduced. So not only Jenkins, we are having so many different kinds of CI/CD pipelining tools that are available. The one is GitHub Actions, okay, and then GitHub Actions is also one of the CI/CD pipelining tool, and then GitLab Runners is there. Okay, GitLab Runners. This is also one of the CI/CD pipelining tool. Bamboo is there. Okay, Bamboo is also there. This is also one of the type of CI/CD pipelining tool. Like that, we are having so many different types of CI/CD pipelining tools are available. Among those, the oldest and at the same time the mostly used CI/CD pipelining tool is the Jenkins. Now, why we are using this Jenkins as a CI/CD pipelining tool? So whenever there is a developer who developed the code either in Python, Java, or else any another language, if this code has to be pushed into the GitHub, so what they will do, they will use the Git Git tool. So Git and GitHub both are different. Git is the local application tool, and GitHub is the remote available version control system. Both are different. So whenever the developer has defined a code and the code is pushed into the GitHub, and from this GitHub, what should be done? Whatever the code that has been pushed, that code should be built. So the code building will be done by the, for example, it's a Spring Boot application. The code building will be done by your Maven tool. Okay, so with the help of your Maven tool, the code build will happen. And from the Maven, what we can do over here is whatever the build that is generated. So we need to deploy this application in a server. Okay, for installing that server, we will be using the infrastructure as a code, that is Terraform. So with the help of Terraform, we will develop a server. Okay, so we will create a servers, we will create the complete infrastructure, whatever that is required for running that application. Okay, I want to run this application inside a server. So for that, we need to have the VPC. If I want to have the VPC, then what we are going to do here is we need to create it with Terraform, subnets with the help of Terraform, and then EC2 instances with the help of Terraform, RDS. If there is any requirement for the database, then also we will use the Terraform. So for everything, we will be using the Terraform to create the infrastructure. Once the infrastructure is created, we can install the application with the Terraform itself. And then I want to install Docker on the servers. So I want to install the Docker on the server, and whatever the application that has been converted into the build, I will run that build, or else I am going to create that build in the form of Docker images. And these images are responsible for creating the containers. So here we are going to use the Docker. Once we have used the Docker, so to maintain these containers, we will be using the Kubernetes. We will be using the Kubernetes to manage and maintain those containers. Suddenly, if the container is down, uh, I need to make sure that the containers will be running properly. Whenever any container is down, automatically the new container should be created. That can be done with the help of Kubernetes. And once the application is deployed, okay, once the application is deployed, then this application should be monitored. Okay, so this monitoring can be done by Prometheus and Grafana. And then if there are any logs, so these logs can be collected by ELK. So now these things can be integrated with the Jenkins. So now here this monitoring will be done by Prometheus and Grafana. Once the monitoring is done and whatever the results that we are getting, whatever the results that I am getting, I am sending the results to the, I am going to send the notifications to the user through email. Okay. Once I have sent the results to the user will understand that, and then the developer will again do certain modifications into the code by accessing that particular results. So whatever the notifications or whatever the email that he got, depending on the email, he is going to make some modifications in the application, and then he is going to upload that code into the GitHub. So in the GitHub, there is a concept called as webhooks. So with the help of this webhooks, what we can do, we can instantly trigger the Jenkins. So the Jenkins is going to be triggered instantly. Automatically, what happens, the same process will repeat again. So this is what we call it as CI/CD, continuous integration. So what is continuous integration? Taking the feedback from the monitoring tools and the logging tools, and then modifying the application, and then uploading it into the GitHub. So version control system, then that is called as a uh, continuous integration. And then once it is uploaded into the GitHub, and what we are going to do, we are going for the continuous deployment. So what is this continuous deployment? Going with the Docker, installing the application on inside the container and running the container, maintaining the container, and again monitoring the container. Finally, taking the feedback, again doing certain improvements. So this is a continuous process. So that's why if you see the DevOps, the DevOps will be having an infinite loop. Infinite loop in the sense the same process. So initially, when the application is developed, it's a single application. I mean, simple application, but when we do the updates version by version, version by version, so it's an infinite loop where we have to provide the multiple versions of the application until it is stable, and then we have to improve each and everything on an each and every loop. So that is what going to happen in the DevOps, and this will be happen with the help of the Jenkins pipeline. So Jenkins or else any CI/CD pipelining tool. Okay. So this is the concept of CI/CD pipelining tool. Now you understand where we are going to integrate the applications. Any questions here? GitLab in US. Yeah. Any questions? Do you understand the concept where we are going to use the tool and how we are going to work with this Jenkins? Any questions? Come on, guys, open up. Again, I am telling you, this session is completely an one-to-one session. One-to-one in the sense not like one student and the one faculty. It's like the student has to talk and the faculty has to understand what student has understood. If I have to talk continuously, I will talk for 1.5 hours and I will close the batch. So for me, it is very easy. So if I continuously take for 1.5 hours, my syllabus will be progressed very fastly. I don't need to worry about whether the student is understanding or not. Why I am asking? Because it is useless if I tell like that. So you have to be more and more cautious. You have to be more and more understandable about the concept so that when tomorrow when you go for an interview, it will be whatever you have learned here, it will be helpful for you. So that is why I'm asking, do you understand or do you have any questions, anything to ask? Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Mhm.
uh, one question. So, let's say
Mm,
we deploy multiple services in Kubernetes,
mm,
right? So,
mm.
there could be impact of one service, impacting the performance of others.
No, it won't be like that. You are asking, I have an application created in Kubernetes, whether this application will impact the another application performance. That is what your questions, right?
Correct. So, one service is calling other service, and let's say one
Mm.
service faces an issue with respect to performance.
It won't be happen in that fashion, Kubernetes. Okay, if there is any issue with the performance, then we have to check out because depending on the monitoring tool which we have got. That we will see in the Kubernetes.
So,
Okay, great.
okay. So the impact of one service on other, that also we'll see.
We will see. We won't have that very big impact on one service or the other service. Right. Any another questions related to Jenkins? Okay. So now, Jenkins, what is this Jenkins? We are talking about the CI/CD. Whatever you have seen here, this is the CI/CD configuration which we are doing, and this is fine. Now, what is this Jenkins? What this Jenkins is actually going to do? Jenkins is an open source free tool that will be helpful for. It's a Java-based tool. So for running or else for installing the Jenkins, definitely we need to have Java installed on our system. Without Java, the Jenkins application will not be installed. So first we will try to understand how Jenkins will be installed and how we can manage the Jenkins. And later what we will do here is we will go ahead into the concept of how to create the jobs and how to work with the jobs. These are all the concepts that we are going to do. And we will see the primary and standby configuration of this Jenkins servers. Okay, let's see. Now you understand now what is meant by Jenkins? What is a CI/CD pipelining tool? If you are okay, then I will go with the practical implementation of this configuration. Any questions? Anything that you want to add on for this? You please tell me now. Otherwise, we will go into the concept. So those are all the whatever you are expecting. I mean, whatever you have given related to the monitoring, those are all the advanced tools. We will be discussing about the Prometheus and Grafana for monitoring. See, whatever your company is using, I cannot tell you that, right? So it's the common tools which are used in the market that we are going to tell. Every company will not use the same tools now. Okay, anyways, coming back to the problem. So what is this Jenkins? So Jenkins is a CI/CD tool. In this, we are going to install the Jenkins in Ubuntu environment in the AWS environment. So I hope you know about the Ubuntu environment and how to create the EC2 instances in the Ubuntu environment. So to install the Ubuntu environment, I mean to get the EC2 instance, let me go back to the AWS, launch the EC2 instance. Here I will launch Jenkins underscore primary. So this is the first server which I am going to install. And then I will take the Ubuntu environment and T3 micro is fine. This is the instance. And then the key pair will be default laptop key pair. So if you know about AWS, then it is okay. Otherwise, you let me know that we don't know AWS. I will try to explain you what is going to happen. Otherwise, let me tell you. So I am creating an EC2 instance. Okay, I am creating an EC2 instance. So when I am creating the EC2 instance, first of all, you need to provide the name for that EC2 instance with the name and tags. Later, we need to select an later we need to select an AMI. So this is called as Amazon Mission Image. It is just like an operating system installed inside a server. And then we have to select the instance type. So whichever the instance is free tier eligible, you have to select this. For me, T3 micro is free tier eligible, so I will select this EC2 instance. And then you need to create a key pair. What is this key pair? So key pair is for logging into your servers. So for example, I am having a server in the remote location. In US location, I am having the server. Okay. Then what I will do here is we don't need to provide the credentials. Every time if I give the username and password, the username and password has to send from the internet. So I am the client who is trying to access this server. So if I want to access the server, either I need to send the username and password over the internet. So sending the secure credentials over the internet is having a lot of issues. Okay, so if I am having a lot of issues with that, then what is going to happen? The privacy issues will be there. In internet, everyone is not good and everyone is not bad. So there might be a chance that my credentials will be leaked. So I don't want that to happen. So for that, what I am going to do here is I am going to create a key pair. So when I create a key pair, so in AWS environment, here you can see create a new key pair and you have to provide the name and create the key pair means it will download a private key into my client mission. So the EC2 instance will have the public key and the client will have the private key. Okay, just like when you are going outside, how your home is having a lock and how you are having a key. So you will carry your private key and to open your home, you need to use that private key in the lock. So the lock is like a public key and whatever the key that you are carrying, it is a private key. So now you will be downloading that private key and accessing that configuration over here. Okay. So now what I will do, I will use this private key to log in into the server. So that's why we need to have the key pair over here. Okay. And then where we need to install this server, where we have to install this server. So to install the server, what we are going to do here is, for installing the server, we need to have an environment. For example, you are in a company. Okay, when you are working in a company, and that is an IT firm, and there are so many servers inside the company. So these servers are created under the network. So we need to have a network environment to install the servers. In the same manner, in AWS environment also, if I want to run the servers, we need to have a network environment. So that network environment is the VPC configuration. So here I am going to select, there are so many VPCs are available. These are my custom VPCs. Whatever the VPCs that you are seeing here, these are my custom VPCs. If you are using the AWS for the first time, everyone will have, every AWS environment will have a default VPC. If you see here, so every region, so in North Virginia region, I am having my private or else my custom VPCs. If you go for Hyderabad location, in Hyderabad location, we will be having the same configuration. Okay. So if you see here, there will be a default VPC will be there. Look at that. For in this default VPC, you will have the subnets. Okay. In the default VPC, we will have the subnets. And then you will have the routing table, everything will be configured, which means that you don't need to create any VPC. So you will be having a default VPC, you can use that. So if you have knowledge on AWS, you can create your default, you can create your custom VPC and you can run the EC2 instances over there. So here, how many people are having knowledge on AWS?
I don't have good knowledge, sir. I'm little bit
I am
knowledge.
also.
VPC
I
not
do.
much, sir.
Mm-hmm. Manik, you are saying something.
EC2 I know, but VPC not that much deep I have.
No need of understanding about the VPC. You have the knowledge on EC2, no? That's more than enough.
Yes.
Okay. So, Subhu, anything that you want to add for this?
Yes, sir.
Why?
I
Because
don't
it's a,
like. Yes.
okay,
I have
no
the little
problem.
sir, only. Yeah, not much.
Little bit knowledge is more than enough. So, understanding the EC2 instances is more than enough. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Right. So now I want to create this server in the Zomato VPC. Zomato is my custom VPC which I have created, and I will select a subnet. Any which ways, I will explain you how to run this or else how to work with this and the default VPC, default security group. And I just want to launch the EC2 instance. So the IP address is 192.168.1.100. So this is the IP address and launch the instance. So now I have installed the Jenkins server. I just installed the Jenkins server in my AWS environment. Okay, this is the Jenkins server which I am having. Now, inside the Jenkins server, what I have to do is I need to install the applications. So what I said you, Jenkins is based on the Java application. So we need to install Java inside the Jenkins. Inside the server. Okay. So let's see what we can do over here is. Tomorrow I will tell you how to access this, how to create the VPC, how to access the servers, the basic understanding of the AWS environment. So everyone needs to have an AWS account to understand the configurations. Okay. So now, please try to create an AWS account. If you already have the AWS accounts, well and good. If not, please try to create. The entire process of creating the AWS account has been changed. You have to look after that once. Anyways, coming back to the point, we need to install Jenkins on the server. So how we can install Jenkins on the server? apt update -y and apt install -y open jdk -21 -jdk. I need to install the Java 21. on my server. Okay, after installing Java 21 on my server, what I have to do. So here I am going to have two servers. Okay, two Jenkins servers. So like this. Why we need to have two Jenkins servers? So this is the Jenkins primary server, and we will be having Jenkins standby server. And why we need to have two? For example, if I want to run a CI/CD pipelining tool, the developer has updated the code into the GitHub, and automatically the Jenkins server has to connect to that what I can say, connect to that version control system to your GitHub, and from there it has to run the job. Unfortunately, if the primary server is down and it is not working fine due to any reason, the network is not available, or else the system got hanged out, or else the server is not running. So then automatically the standby has to work for this particular configuration. If the primary is not working, automatically the standby is like a highly available Jenkins cluster that we are going to create, and we will be doing the synchronization between whatever the jobs that has been done. Okay, so Jenkins primary server will do certain job. So it will execute the commands, it will check out the commands, will be execute. I mean, whatever the user given jobs are running or not, it is going to execute the CI/CD pipeline tool. Unfortunately, if this primary server is down, then we need to have a standby server. We need to have a standby unit to run the configuration until the primary is up. So we will see how to create this configuration. As of now, we have installed the Java on primary server, Java-version. Okay. And let me install the standby server also. Launch instance, Jenkins underscore standby. Okay, Jenkins underscore standby. It is also a Ubuntu environment. And the same process, T3 micro, key pair will be default key pair. Tomorrow I will explain you about this AWS VPC creation. It is very important for you to understand, at least to get a knowledge on Terraform. So anyways, we are going to discuss about the Terraform. For that, definitely you need to have the basic knowledge of how to create the VPC and how to create the EC2 instance. Tomorrow we'll discuss about that. And then the default security group. And here, what we are going to do, I will provide the primary IP 192.168.2.100. Okay, why I am telling you Jenkins here means I can start here, but 30 minutes is not sufficient for me to tell you the entire class of VPC and EC2 instance. So if I have to tell you about the VPC configuration and EC2 instance, I need to have a proper 1 hour of session, so that I will be very happy to share with you. So what I will tell you here is, first of all, you understand this configuration. Tomorrow I will explain you in detail about how to create VPC, how to create the subnets, and how to manage the subnets. Everything I will explain you in detail.
192,
So I'm
sir, with that IP.
sorry.
What
What is the IP?
192.
192. Okay. So launch the instance. Done. So we have the two instances created. So somebody is asking some question. What is? Come again.
Sir, what is that primary address, sir? Is the first server, first Jenkins server address, sir? That one?
No, that's the
Terminated.
primary IP address. So what is this primary
Okay.
IP address means? We will be having, for every server, there will be a primary IPs will be there. If your computer is there, your computer is connected to the internet, to your Wi-Fi router, automatically you are going to get a IP address, no? So that is nothing but the
Yes, sir. Yes,
primary
sir.
IP address. Okay.
Okay.
Now let us access the standby server. To make the difference between primary and standby, what I am going to do, I will show you in the color difference manner. So
So the
first
relation
of
is
all,
there between these servers, primary
that you
and
will see,
okay, sir.
that you will see. Hold on. So let me access the server. Appearance will be 12. color, I will take it as the foreground color will be the green one. Okay. Now we are able to log in into the standby server. So this is the standby server. Sudo su hyphen apt update hyphen y and apt install hyphen y open jdk hyphen 21 hyphen jdk. We have installed the Java application in both the servers. Now I have an application. By default, the Jenkins will be created in this particular directory of the server, warlib Jenkins. So it is the directory in which the Jenkins will be, the Jenkins home directory is warlib Jenkins. Okay. So now what I will do here is whatever the data that is created in this warlib Jenkins, I will be creating an NFS. So NFS means network file sharing. I hope you know about that, or else network file system in Linux environment. So that whatever the data that is created in this directory, with the help of shared file system, we can synchronize the same data in the, I'm talking about the same data, not the application. We can synchronize the same data in the standby Jenkins server also. Simple. For example, in your mobile phone, you are having the photos. You have your photos taken in your mobile. So you want to back up that in the another mobile phone, or else you want to synchronize those photos with the another in the another mobile phone. Then what you are going to do? So
Clones my phone.
sorry,
Just we are sharing, otherwise I cloning the phone cloning or something like this.
phone cloning is not necessary. You have some photos which are very important. For all those photos, you want to synchronize with the another phone. Simply what you will do, in internet, there is a Google Drive. So you will upload all the photos into the Google Drive, and that Google Drive will be synchronized into the another phone. So then all the photos will be available in the another phone. No? So here, what is the common storage for both the mobile phones?
Google Drive.
Store, sir. Google Drive, sir. Yeah.
Your drive is the common storage. Here also the same thing we are going to do. We will have the primary Jenkins server and there will be a standby Jenkins server. These two servers are connected to a shared file system. So how we are going to connect these two for a shared file system? So in AWS environment, we are going to have a concept called as EFS, Elastic File Sharing. Okay. So we need to create a volume or else a storage, just like your Google Drive, we are going to create a storage. So this is called as EFS. Create file system, and the file system name is Jenkins file system. Okay. Here you can put any name. It is not like it's a casual. Okay. So I'm selecting Zomato VPC. Why? Because my both the Jenkins servers are in the Zomato VPC. I'm selecting it. We don't need to enable any backups. We don't need to have any synchronization. It's a demo purpose, so I'm not taking the backup. But when you are in the live environment, please select the backups. Next. And you can simply go for next, and create. Now we have the EFS created. Once the EFS is created, yes. Okay. So here we are having the EFS configured. Now what I have to do here, so in both the servers, I want to create a directory mkdir-p/warlib Jenkins. So a directory will be created in first server, and at the same time, I am going to create the identical or else the same directory in the second server. So here you can see in both the servers, we got the same directory created. Now I want to mount whatever the EFS that I have created in my AWS. I want to mount this EFS to both the servers. To mount EFS, first of all, we need to install NFS in the server. So the server should know, no, this particular volume is a shared volume. So if the server has to know, definitely we need to install that. So for example, if I don't install NFS, then what is going to happen? Let me tell you. nano/etc fs tab. So for permanent mounting of that volume into my system, so if you see here, I'm going to copy this DNS, paste it over here, //warlib Jenkins. I want to, the meaning is that whatever the EFS that I have created in the AWS environment, I want to mount that EFS to my warlib Jenkins folder. And it is an network file sharing kind of file system. I'm going to give like this. It's a shared file system. That is what I'm telling to my Linux environment. If I give mount-a, I'm going to get an error. See that? I'm going to get the error. So to overcome this problem, what I am going to do here is, first of all, I need to install the NFS, apt install -y nfs-format. In the standby node also, we need to do the same. apt install -y nfs-format. So in both the nodes, we have installed the sharing file system sharing application. Now it's time to mount it. Mount-a. Okay. So now that EFS is mounted to my server. So here you can see df-h. Look at that. So whatever the EFS volume that we have created, the 8 exabytes of volume is attached to my warlib Jenkins folder. In the same manner, here also I need to do the same. So what I will do, nano/etc EFS tab, whatever the DNS name is there. I want to provide the DNS name of the EFS. So let me copy this, /warlib Jenkins and NFS. I will save it. And then what I can do, mount-a. Before mounting, how it is looking like, df-h, we don't have that DNS, or else we don't have the EFS folder over here. So when I go for mounting, okay, when I go for mount-a, now if you see df-h, look at that. The difference, I hope you are able to find out. The EFS volume is mounted to warlib Jenkins folder. So whatever the EFS volume that is mounted on the primary server, the same EFS volume is mounted on the standby server also. In both the servers, the same EFS volume is mounted. So now, for example, I will go to cd/warlib Jenkins. In this folder, the EFS is mounted. In this server also, in the standby server also, /warlib Jenkins, the same directory, what I will do, watch-n1 ls-l dot. Every 1 second, I want to check out the list of files that are available in warlib Jenkins. So now here what I will do is, for I in 1.10, I am going to create some files in this particular folder. If you see in warlib Jenkins, in the primary directory also, we don't have any files. In the standby also, we don't have any files. So let me create some files. For I in 1.10, do echo $date file $i ls-l sleep1 and done. When I do this, what is going to happen? In primary, the files are getting created. In standby also, you can see the files are getting synchronized. Whatever the files that I am creating in the primary, the same files are replicated on the standby. If you see here, LSFNL, we are having 10 files. File 1 to 10 is created. In the standby also, the same file has been replicated or else synchronized. So this is what the benefit of having the shared file system. Now, when I install the Jenkins on one server, the files will be synchronized on the second server also. So you need to understand one thing. So I'm saying that the data synchronization will happen, but the application is not going to be installed on the standby. See, we are installing the application on the primary server. That means that in the standby, the application will not be installed. The data will be synchronized. Okay. So now what I will do here, I hope you understand about this EFS and entire thing. Any questions here? Any questions?
Chaitanya, I have one doubt.
Mhm.
The Java, it will be pre-installed or
We need to install it.
okay.
So that's why I
Because
have used the command no apt install -y open jdk 21 -jdk.
yes, so
JDK
but
is
in system the Java should be there, so that command will work, right? Or it will download and
it will communicate. Why I have updated the repository so that the Ubuntu will communicate with the Java and it will download that particular repository and install the Java in our system.
okay, in system Java should be there before.
No, Java will not be there in the system. We have to install it. That is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Sir, after
Okay.
installing Java, it is shared to the
Mm.
second system, sir, through
No, it
NFS.
won't be there. No. In each and so in both the systems, I have installed Java. No, not only in a
Yes.
single system. In
Only
both the systems,
application, only
only
data shared only,
application
sir.
data will be shared. See, for example, the same Google Drive application you can take. If you are uploading the photos from one mobile phone into the Google Drive, in the another mobile phone, if you don't have the Google Drive application, then how
Mm,
the synchronization will happen? If I have
yes,
Yes.
to
sir.
tell you in a simple manner, you are playing a game in one mobile. Some games
Mm,
will be there now. So when you are playing the game in one mobile, you will directly connect it to the internet. Your account will be synchronized. How many stages you have played, everything will be updated into your account. You
okay,
purchased a new mobile phone. If you don't install the game, how the data will be synchronized? Even
yes,
though
sir.
that's a shared folder, you need to have an application, no? So in both the servers, you need to install the application. Otherwise,
Only
data
will
will be there, application access won't be there. Okay,
okay, sir. Okay, sir.
all right.
Uh, Sir,
Chaitanya, this
whatever action,
class recording will get, right?
Yeah, you will get it.
Okay.
uh,
Y-
sir,
Yeah,
whatever
Yuvraj.
action take in the primary that affects
Hmm.
in secondary standalone. If we delete something, then that also
Yeah, obviously it is
affects.
going to be replicated. Yeah. So see here.
Okay, so it looks like a replica.
Hmm. Yeah, it is a
Uh,
replica. That is what
means
I said.
okay, sir.
So
Okay, sir.
if you see here, the file 1 to 10 is there on primary, and at the same time, we are having file 1 to 10 on the standby also. Now, what I will do here is do for 1 to 10, for I in 1 to 10, what I will do rm hyphen, sorry, rm hyphen rf file $i. When I give this now, what should happen? Let me do one thing. For I in 1 dot 10 to rm hyphen rf file $i ls hyphen l sleep 1 10. Look at that file 1. Here you can see. Let me do one thing. Here you can see when the files are deleting on the primary, the files are getting deleted on the standby also. The same thing will happen. When you create, it will create. When you delete, it will delete. Okay, that's the replicas. Got it?
It's a vice versa,
Okay,
also,
sir.
sir. Vice versa also, sir. And
Mhm.
the secondary, if I delete, it will be reflected to the primary also,
Yeah,
sir.
vice versa. Yeah, same thing will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were asking something. Is that clear?
No, sir, I got it.
Okay, good. So now let us go back to the installing Jenkins. So how we can install the Jenkins? Already we are having Java installed on both the servers. Now it's time to install Jenkins. So jenkins.io download, sorry, uh, documentation, installing Jenkins. I want to install Jenkins on Linux environment, that too in the Ubuntu. So here you can see Debian Ubuntu, what they are saying, installing of Java, OpenJDK 21 is required. Okay, that is only supported version right now. So now install this, take all these commands and install it on server 1. So when you install on the server 1, so whenever the application is having the data you can see on the server 2. In server 1 also the data will be there, and as well as the same data will be synchronized on the server 2. Okay, good. See there? So the data is automatically created. Why the data is automatically created? Because it is synchronizing. But the application is not installed on the second server. We need to install the application on the server 2 also. I will install the application on server 2, the Jenkins application. On both the servers, I will install it. Okay, to access this Jenkins in the AWS environment, we will be having, so let me copy the primary IP address, primary server IP address. Either you can copy this public IPv4 or public DNS. Anyone is fine. I will go with the public DNS. So Jenkins will be running on the port number 8080. So copy and give this port number. By default, port number is port number 8080. If you want, you can change it, but that's altogether a different scenario over here. Right now, we will be using port number 8080 as a default port number for Jenkins. So if you want the password to log in into the Jenkins, you want the password now. So simply in both the servers, what you can do here is cat, give that warlib Jenkins secrets initial admin password. What is the initial admin password? This one. So if you see here on the standby also, the same password will be there. You see here on standby also, look at both the passwords. See that 92086, 92086. So both the passwords are same. So whatever the password that is in primary and standby. Why? Because they are synchronizing whatever the data that is there in the primary, the same data will be there in the standby also. So now continue, and we want to install the necessary plugins. So for setting up the Git, and then if you want to have any pipeline to be created here, you can see pipeline plugins are installing, Gradle, and so these are all the plugins that are getting installed on the primary server. In the standby also, you can do the same. So let me access the standby server. To access it, either you can take the public DNS or public IPv4 address. Anything is fine. 8080, the application will be running on this particular port number. And then what we can do over here is the same password we are going to give in the standby also. We are going to give in the standby also. So here you can see initial admin password, continue. So now here also we need to install the plugins on standby also. By defaultly, the plugins will be available in the primary. So automatically the same plugins will be synchronized with the standby. So this much time it is not going to take in the standby. Okay, so hold on. Skip and continue as an admin, not now, and start using Jenkins. Done. So now our Jenkins primary setup is done. In the standby also, what you can do over here is it will be fastly installed. It is not going to take that much time. How primary has taken, that much time is not going to be taken in the standby. Fastly it will be installing the applications. So anyways, this is how your Jenkins dashboard will be looking like. So many things are given in the gear icon. Okay, the settings are, everything is set up on the gear icon. This is for managing the Jenkins. And here you can see this is how your Jenkins dashboard will be there. So as a DevOps engineer, it is mandatory to have a perfect knowledge in Jenkins. If you are able to work with Jenkins easily, then you can work with any another tool. You can integrate any another tool into the Jenkins and you can manage the tool. So not only Jenkins, any CI/CD pipelining tools. It might be GitHub Actions, it might be Jenkins, it might be GitLab runners. So as Ben said, GitLab runners are most famous in US. I have the students from US. When I'm giving the job support for them, they will ask me this type of questions. So in GitLab runners, how to configure it, how to integrate the Active Directory. These are all the things that I got once from one of the student. Okay, so I know what is the scenario over there. So skip and continue as an admin, not right now, and start using Jenkins. So this is how we can start using the Jenkins in the both the systems. And here we have to create a job. What is the job? If you want to run any commands, or else if you want to create a pipeline, you can create new item and you can run the jobs. So how we have to create these jobs and how we have to run that we will see in the upcoming sessions. I hope you understand how to create the Jenkins and how to install the Jenkins. Any questions here? Up to now, whatever the topic that we have discussed, any questions?
No. It might take time because this is new to us. So
Yeah, obviously. I totally understand that.
yes.
Okay. So step by step, you need to understand here. So first, we
Yes.
need to create the infrastructure. For creating the infrastructure, we need to have an AWS environment. Inside the AWS account, we need to have a VPC. What is meant by VPC? Any which ways tomorrow, I will tell you about the VPC and how to install VPC, how to create the VPC, and how to run the EC2 instance inside a VPC, and how to create a private and public keys, and how to access the EC2 instance. So tomorrow, the entire time I will give it for the VPC. And later, what you have to understand. So once we created the EC2 instance, what are the system requirements? To understand the system requirements, you can see the Jenkins official website. Here they have clearly mentioned that what you need to have. So see that on Debian-based distributions, installation of Java. Jenkins require Java to run. Yet not all Linux distributions include Java by default. So by default, you won't have the Java. They themselves is saying that. Additionally, not all Java versions are compatible with Jenkins. Right now, Java 21 is compatible with Jenkins. Previously, we used to have the support for Java 17. From March 2026, Java 17 support is removed. Jenkins is removing Java 17 support. So we need to have the updated version of Java for running the Jenkins. And then there are multiple Java implementations which you can use. OpenJDK is the most popular one at the moment. We will use it. You will use it in this guide. So we have used the same OpenJDK only. And update the Debian repositories, install OpenJDK 21 and check the installation with the commands. So we have done the same thing. But here they have used JRE, I used JDK. Both are the same, most probably. So here you can see this is how that is installed. Java 21 is installed. After Java 21 is installed, you need to install the Jenkins. That's it. So Jenkins will be installed on your server. And if you want the standby server, you need to configure the EFS. So for creating the EFS, we need to go for the EFS service in the AWS environment, and we have to create a file system, and we need to update the configuration inside that file system. So this is what we have done in the entire application. So that's the concept of Jenkins. And tomorrow we will discuss about the VPC. Tomorrow will be the last demo. So with that, we are going to close the demos, and from what I can say, yeah, from 4th onwards, we will start working on the working with the candidates who has enrolled for the course. So I'm going to deliver the content for them. And then we will be working with once the Jenkins is completed, most probably by this weekend, we are going to complete the Jenkins. Okay. And then we will be discussing about the concept of understanding, or else by next Tuesday, we will complete Jenkins. Why? Because still we have a few more demos, or else demos will be there. So by Tuesday, we'll complete Jenkins, and from Wednesday onwards, we'll start Terraform. So the Terraform will take up to 17, and from 17, we will start working on the Docker. So I will try to cover it out as soon as possible. My agenda is that I just need to cover the Kubernetes at least by before 10th of January. That is my target here. Okay, why? Because Kubernetes itself is a very big topic. So to cover that, we need to have a lot and lots of time. So anyways, the basic concepts I am talking. So tomorrow also we will have the basic understanding, and from day after tomorrow onwards, those who are interested to join the session, you can enroll for the session, and then we will go ahead into the multiple topics of the Terraform, Jenkins, and Kubernetes. Okay. So please don't miss out this opportunity. Very, very interesting and very comprehensive, and what I can say, interview preparation topics will be there, and interview preparation questions and guides will be given for you. Don't miss out this opportunity. So have a nice day, and we'll meet in the next session, guys.
Hello.
Mhm.
Just one question, sir. For
No breaks.
okay, sure.
No breaks. Even you will have a break in the weekend, but most probably won't have. You won't. I won't provide any breaks. Okay. If you want, you can take a leave for one day on that festival. I won't call it as a festival for that New Year. Otherwise, no breaks are there. Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Right.
sir,
Hello.
Yeah.
sir,
Yeah.
where I can get the syllabus?
Where you can
Uh,
get the
uh,
syllabus? Huh? DurgaSoft.
yes, sir.
In the DurgaSoft website, you can have that. Let me DurgaSoft online.
Online. Yes.
Here you can see that. This is DurgaSoft courses. This is not the one.
DurgaSoftOnline.com.
Yeah, DurgaSoft.com. Here you can see.
Online.
Okay, sir.
Online.
Not
Right hand
required
side.
online. Here
Okay.
you can see. From here, you are going to get the entire course details. Course content. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Chaitanya, one doubt I have. That
Mhm.
public DNS we created in two, like primary and standby, right?
Mm-hmm. That is
So,
not created by us. That will be auto-generated.
okay, with that URL, we copied the DNS, public DNS with 8080 port, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that one,
This, yeah, go on. Go on.
like primary and standby, the public DNS will be different, right?
Yeah, both are different servers. No, see, public DNS is nothing. Here you can see EC2
Yes.
44 220 82 64 is there. No, so the same public IP address.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So the public DNS of one server is different from the public DNS of the another
Another
server.
server. Yes. So
If
two
you
times we
create,
have configured.
yeah, 2 times I have configured.
Okay. This recording, Chaitanya.
You will get it on YouTube. Otherwise, you will the DurgaSoft is going to share with you. As these are the demos, you will get it on YouTube,
Okay.
or it will be shared for you on the Google Drive. Once your enrollment is done, they will share you the topics. Okay, they will
Okay.
share you the recordings with you.
So
Okay,
once enrollment done, then only we'll get, right? Not now.
recordings wise, if you want the access, then you need to have the enrollment done.
Yeah.
Otherwise, for these demos, you will get it on the YouTube. You have to
Okay.
check it out from there.
Okay.
Right there. Okay, guys. I hope I made it very clear for you as per my point of view. So tomorrow we'll discuss about the AWS environment, and then we will dive into the from day after tomorrow onwards, we will dive into the Jenkins configurations. So have a nice day, and we'll meet in the next session. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all.